The night air near the Los Angeles River felt colder than it should have. Amanda's breath came in short, shaky bursts as she hurried down the cracked pathway, her worn sneakers scraping against gravel. The city lights flickered in the distance, but here, near the riverbank, everything felt abandoned, forgotten. Wrapped tightly in a thin, faded blanket were two tiny bodies, her newborn twin boys. Only 2 weeks old. Fragile. Quiet. Too quiet. Amanda's hands trembled as she clutched them closer to her chest. Her eyes were red, not just from tears, but from sleepless nights, confusion, and fear. Her life in Las Vegas, late nights, loud music, strangers, flashing lights, had never prepared her for this moment. I can't do this, she whispered to herself, her voice cracking. Behind her, hidden in the shadows, a man watched. Liani. At 28, he carried the calm, controlled presence of someone used to power. Dressed in dark clothing, his sharp eyes followed Amanda carefully. He hadn't planned to be here tonight, but something about the way she moved, the panic in her steps, made him stop and watch. Something was wrong. Amanda reached the edge of the riverbank. The water below moved slowly, reflecting the dim glow of the city. Her breathing grew louder, almost desperate. She looked down at the twins. For a brief moment, something inside her broke. Tears streamed down her face. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry," she whispered. Then, before her courage could return, she placed the babies gently on the ground beside the river and ran, fast, without looking back. From the shadows, Liani's eyes widened. "What the?" He rushed forward, his footsteps quick and urgent. "Hey, wait," he shouted into the darkness. But Amanda was gone, vanished into the night like she had never been there. Liani stood there for a brief second, stunned. Then he rushed forward. When he reached the spot, he froze. 2 tiny babies lay there, crying softly, their small bodies barely moving under the blanket. He looked around again, hoping she would come back. No one came. Only silence. Only the sound of the river moving slowly in the background. He crouched down carefully, his expression tightening. "What am I supposed to do with this?" he muttered under his breath. For a moment, he hesitated. This wasn't his world. This wasn't something he was prepared for. But the babies cried again, and something inside him shifted. He reached out and gently picked them up, one in each arm. They were warm, fragile, completely dependent. He let out a slow breath. "I guess you're coming with me," he said quietly. When he walked into his house, everything changed instantly. The place was large, modern, and usually silent, filled with men who respected power and followed orders without question. But the moment they saw him carrying 2 babies, the entire room froze. "Boss, what is that?" one of them asked, staring in disbelief. "Are those actually babies?" Another added, standing up. "Did you just kidnap them?" someone said half seriously. Liani's expression didn't change. "They were dumped," he said calmly. The room went silent. "Then take them back," one of the men said. "That's not our problem." Liani's eyes hardened immediately. "They are now." The words landed heavily. "They're mine," he added. Shock spread across their faces, but no one argued further. They all knew that when Liani made a decision, it was final. That night, no one slept. The babies cried constantly, their voices echoing through the house. The men, who were used to handling dangerous situations without hesitation, looked completely lost. "Boss, why is it making that noise?" one of them asked, holding one awkwardly. "Because it's a baby," another snapped. Liani stood there, holding one of the twins, clearly out of his depth. "This isn't working," he admitted quietly. The next day, he brought someone in. Yolanda walked into the house with calm, steady steps. At 23, she carried herself with quiet confidence. She didn't panic when she saw the babies. She didn't question the situation too much. She simply walked over, gently took one baby into her arms, and adjusted the blanket. Within minutes, the crying stopped. The room fell silent. "How did you do that?" one of the men whispered. Yolanda gave a small smile. "They just needed someone who knows how to hold them." From that moment on, everything began to change. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. The house slowly transformed. The constant tension faded, replaced by small moments of warmth. The babies grew healthier, stronger, and louder in a happier way. Liani found himself watching more than speaking. He would stand quietly in the doorway as Yolanda fed them, bathed them, or rocked them to sleep. Something about her presence brought a kind of peace he wasn't used to. One evening, as the house settled into silence, he spoke. "You're different," he said. Yolanda looked up at him. "Different how?" "You care, without expecting anything back." She held his gaze for a moment, then smiled softly. "That's what they need." He didn't respond, but the words stayed with him. Time passed, and his feelings grew deeper. It wasn't sudden. It wasn't dramatic. It was built slowly, through quiet moments and shared responsibility. One night he made a decision. "You're the only one who can raise them right," he said, his voice steady. Yolanda listened without interrupting. "I want you to be their mother," he continued, "and I'll be their father." She was surprised, but she understood what he meant. This wasn't just about the children. It was about building something real. After a long pause, she nodded. And just like that, they became a family. Years went by. The twins grew into strong, disciplined young men. They were smart, focused, and grounded. They knew their story, but they also knew who had truly been there for them. Liani guided them with firm but steady leadership. Yolanda gave them care, patience, and love. Eventually, the twins decided to build something of their own. They opened a small electronics shop. It wasn't flashy, but it was honest. A new direction. One quiet afternoon, the door opened. A woman walked in slowly. Her clothes were worn, her face tired, her eyes heavy with years of struggle. It was Amanda. "I'm looking for work," she said softly. "Anything. I can clean, help, whatever you need." One of the twins looked at her. Then the other. Something felt familiar. Amanda stared at them, her eyes widening slowly. "No, it can't be," she whispered. Her hands began to shake. "You're my sons." The room fell silent. She told them everything. The nights, the fear, the mistake she could never take back, the regret that had followed her every day since. "I've thought about you every single day," she said, tears streaming down her face. "Not a day goes by without me wishing I could change what I did." The twins listened quietly. When she finished, one of them stepped forward. "We forgive you," he said calmly. For a moment, hope filled her face. "But our mother is not you," the other added. The words hit hard. "She's the one who stayed," he continued. "She's the one who raised us when we couldn't take care of ourselves." Amanda's expression broke completely. There was nothing she could say. No explanation strong enough. No apology big enough. The truth had already been written by time. "We hope you find peace," one of them said gently. Amanda nodded slowly, tears falling silently. Then she turned and walked toward the door. Her hand touched the handle. She paused. For the first time since she walked in, she didn't run. She stood there, breathing slowly, gathering what little strength she had left. Then she turned back. "I know I don't deserve anything from you," she said quietly. "Not forgiveness, not a place in your life, nothing." The twins watched her carefully. "But if there's anything I can do, even if it's just cleaning this shop, I want to try. Not as your mother, just as someone who wants to make things right." Silence filled the room again. This time it felt different. Heavier, but calmer. The twins looked at each other. Then one of them spoke. "You can't change the past," he said. Amanda nodded, tears still falling. "I know, but you can choose what you do next." She looked up slightly. "There's work here," the other twin added. "It's not easy. It's not special. And it doesn't erase anything." Amanda swallowed hard. "I'm not looking for easy," she said. A long pause followed. Then one of the twins gave a small nod toward the back room. "Start tomorrow morning." Amanda's breath caught. Not joy, not relief. Something quieter, something real. "Thank you," she whispered. Not as a mother, not as someone forgiven completely, but as someone being given a chance to stand instead of run. As she stepped out of the shop that day, the sun was beginning to set, casting a warm glow across the street. For the first time in years, Amanda didn't feel like she was running away. She felt like she was finally facing the life she had once abandoned. Inside the shop, the twins stood quietly. Yolanda walked in from the back, having heard everything. "Was that her?" she asked softly. They nodded. She looked at them carefully, searching their faces. "You did the right thing," she said. "Not because it was easy, but because it was honest." Later that night, the family sat together for dinner. Liani watched his sons, then Yolanda, a quiet pride in his eyes. From a cold night by the river, to a house filled with warmth, growth, and second chances, everything had come full circle. Not perfectly, but truthfully. Because in the end, a real family isn't built by blood alone. It's built by the people who choose to stay, and the ones who finally learn not to run. Liani.